Alrighty. So, it's a rainy day and I'm bored. So I guess it's a good time to draw something. So, I may or may not talk while drawing. Probably not. So it may be a bit boring. The point is, I shall doodle. What I'll doodle? No idea. That'll come up to my mind at some point. So well, as always, we can start with a circle. But well, aside talking from the drawing itself, one can talk about other things while drawing, you know. Today I'll specifically talk about making sure of things. Yeah, making sure of things. It feels like a very unspecific topic, and it is until you start going in depth. You know, seems about right. Well, basically, making sure of things. I'm a person that tries to make sure of a lot of things. Sometimes I overthink a lot, though, and that's not good either. But yeah, it's okay to make sure you're doing things right. Because I guess everyone reacts to things differently. And that's okay. Because we're all different. Not everyone will work like you or I do. And that's normal. And you just have to learn from it. That's what's pretty cool about, you know, meeting new people. You learn a lot from others. And you may as well also, like, not just learn for them, but also learn for yourself. Because on the way, you may also discover more about you, aside from the other person. I'm not good at talking for elongated periods of time. If you hear background noise, or a voice, that's likely a family member of mine. I apologize. I may go silent on those periods because reasons. Yeah. Well, now we go to the little eye. For this big little guy. Big little guy, that sounds pretty contradicting. You know what I mean. A big little guy, a cute big boy. Oh well, as I was saying, yeah. Learning from others, not just for them, but also because you may learn something about you on the way. Whoops. I know very well, that some people just don't really learn. Don't bother to learn about others. Even if it's, you know, pretty much the principal thing to do when you're starting a friendship of any kind. Yeah, there's some people that just don't try. They focus more on themselves than they would do on anybody else. And that's what I'm used to, not gonna lie. People that just are too focused on themselves to even bother thinking for a second if what they're doing is okay, or if, you know, if their actions have consequences, if what they do affects who they're interacting with. I know that for some people that may be a lot to think about, and yes, it is a lot to think about, but everything has its thinking part. You you can't quite skip thinking. That's a bit unhinged to say, because, you know, we think all the time. I'm not even sure if the drawing that I'm making is visible at all, but I'm doing something. I'm cooking. I'm pretty sure that my hair is more visible than my drawing is. My goodness gracious. I am not Christian, by the way. My whole ass family is, but I don't believe in that kind of stuff. I don't believe in anything. Nor do I think about any of those things, because I just really don't have a formed opinion on those topics. And I prefer not to. I don't hate it, I don't love it. I just have certain things that have led me to think the way I do. And they're not positive. But that's okay. Well, as you can see, I do no guidelines for what I'm doing, which usually goes about fine, but other times it can go horribly and just screw up entirely what I'm doing. But I feel it's okay. I don't really mind. I usually only do guidelines for stuff like wings, for example, like I'm doing right now. I'm doing a little guide. It's not too big, but it's something, and it's pretty useful. Just to make sure that the shapes don't look too odd. He's a big boy. And well, the reason why I prefer talking about this particularly today is merely because, yes. Because, yes, literally. Because I'm just not liking how people are being so indifferent from the way they affect others, or how their actions have consequences, and how they don't take responsibility for their consequences of their actions. That's more what I meant. And I don't know, that's pretty crazy to me, because if you do something wrong, the most obvious thing you should do is take accountability, because you did something wrong, right? But a lot of people just don't. Literally, they just don't. And sometimes they do something wrong, and to fix what they did wrong, they do another wrong thing and just make things even worse. In some occasions, it may be something kind of minor, but in other cases, it may be involving the life of something, and that's when it gets tough, because that's just not good. And I'm not straying too far from what I'm saying right now, because that's already more personal. The reason why I'm speaking about this today. But well, sometimes you have to go through very tough situations to come to the realization that what you lived your whole life was merely just a tiny glimpse of what will happen in the rest of it. Because things will get messy, and you can't be quite saved from the messy. But well, some things are pretty messy, in not the sense of like really, in the sense of that it's like actually pretty, and that it feels nice, because sometimes things won't go as you expect them to go or plan them to go, but they could totally head in a different direction that you may end up liking. In my case, it's only happened a couple of times. I say that mostly happens when you go on trips. Things don't really go as you plan, but you experience other things that are quite interesting as well. Like, for example, like, let's say you plan an excursion, like to go on a walk or something, to see a place of interest, of, tourism kind of thing. What if that day it just casually rains or something while you're doing whatever expedition you're doing? Yeah, it's pretty awful that happens, but by that rain you may also run into other possibilities, like staying at a restaurant or seeing other places on your way back to your apartment, taking different ways that you would have if you were planning things, Because when you have everything planned, it's like you know what will happen. And that's why we get stressed when it doesn't happen like we want it to. And that's why I just don't plan things. It's also not good to plan things like at all. Sometimes it's even more stressing, but it also doesn't give you too much expectations of what could happen. So you don't really get upset if something supposedly goes wrong, but you also don't quite mind if anything happens at all. And I think it's kind of sweet. I'm gonna give this big chunker hammer tail with a spine of some sorts. And I'm gonna add some more details as I go further, because this is kind of like a base aspect of the boil, a base boil, and I didn't finish this side yet. I'll go on to that. But well, enough talking about planning, because here we don't plan stuff. It's kind of like how I don't plan this video. I just saw there's a storm outside. I can't really use my computer, so I just chose to draw it this way instead of drawing the usual way I do, which is digitally. Big boy. I don't know if it's just me, but I adore big creatures, like big dragons, big humanoid beings. It's like, they just look cuter to me. I don't know, there's just that big aspect about them that instead of looking menacing, it ends up looking kind of cute. It's like you feel safe about a big thing. Where the fuck did my eraser go? What the fuck? Excuse me for my bad wording. It's just that I literally can't find my eraser. I had it like a millisecond ago. I shall find it. It will appear on its own at some point. Or not. Well, whoopsie. Just as I was talking about unexpected inconvenience, and well, found it. Just how unexpected inconveniences appear, they also disappear. Sometimes things can resolve a lot faster than you may imagine they would. You just gotta make sure to go on and not give up on it. Take your time and go slowly. It's hard to take your time sometimes, mostly knowing that a human's lifestyle is mostly based on fast, just being fast. Everything's fast. People move fast. Streets are crazy. People almost seem angry every time. And it's kind of because they are. Sí.
¿Dónde está el cargador ¿Dónde pusiste el cargador del teléfono? El cargador del celu.
¿Cómo que dónde puse el cargador de tu celu?
Sí, bueno, habías usado el cargador de mi celu en el vehículo prestado.
Sí, pero hoy esta mañana y después te lo di de vuelta.
No, a mí no me lo diste.
Sí. Well, whoopsies. My native language is Spanish, as you may have heard. And, I may have committed a very bad mistake. And I'm kind of scared about it. Whoopsies. I can't even really say whoopsies, like if what seems to have gotten lost got lost. That'll be a big expense and a lot of anger, because my parents are of very how do I call this? It's like people who want to avoid as much as possible spending. People of, I can't say tight pocket, because a tight pocket person is a person that doesn't really have much money to spend, and they avoid spending because they don't have much. We have stuff, but it's like we avoid using it for some reason. It's kind of shit, not gonna lie. Like, for example, my parents have always raised me telling me, oh, buy what you want, what makes you happy. And then I just say, well, can I get myself a video game or something, you know, to have fun, like any normal person would wanna. And they're like, no, you cannot. And I'm like, oh, okay. Okay then. It's just a little disappointing, you know? My mom is coming back, I'm pretty sure. Oh, she went away. Better. And I give it a big nosy. Oh, wait, no. That doesn't look right with the perspective. Hold on. I still don't know if the camera is captivating the drawing that I'm making, but, well, I'm drawing. That's what matters. Alright, that looks a bit better. That certainly does. I'm glad I fixed that, because it was bothering me a little bit. Okay. So, I love this chunky big boy. Now I'm gonna give it some big scales for protection purposes, because a big boy must have a big protection for the neck. Okay, I'm going to put this guideline over here to mark this. I'm also gonna put some big armories on the leggies and on, like, basically everything I can. I don't really make it accurate or anything. I just kind of do it in a way it looks like armories. And that's okay enough to me. At least in this case, I would be a lot more nitpicky if it were to be in the case that I'm doing this digitally, but I can excuse myself for mistakes in this particular case. Armories. I still continue to put this. There's a lot of background noise. I don't know if it's hearable or not, but there's a lot of background noise. There's the wind. There's my brother smacking his door. Like, not literally smacking his door, it's more of it suddenly closing it in a way that makes a lot of noise. Okay, and I put this last key over here. And yes, I would close it because I heard a noise on my door. And over here, I'll make the leg a bit more bulky. Right here as well. Just to make the big boy more proportional to himself. And well, I'm gonna put big protective scalies over here. Gonna make them smaller as they descend into the big hammer tail. Also shaping them differently. I'm not trying to be symmetrical here. Again, I can excuse myself for mistakes. I want to convince myself that I can. Yes, I am no longer going to talk about serious topics. I just want to doodle, and I want to share my doodling process. The doodling process. The wowing. These voices that I'm doing are not to mock anybody, by the way. They're merely expressions of tone that I do sometimes, just to have fun. I had to make sure that was clear. And I put the scales over there. And I'm gonna make the hammer look thick, because I realize it looks like very, very slim. And it looks more like an axe than a hammer due to that thinness of it. So I'm going to make it look a bit thicker. I can't exactly make it look thick in the way a hammer would, or can I? I can do this and make this more rounded, perhaps. No. We. Alright. That looks a little bit better. It's like I'm convinced about it. And when I'm convinced, that makes it good enough. I'm not putting anything too special on the wings, other than erasing this guideline part that I made. I'm just gonna add the armories, maybe some couple stones, because this boy looks a bit stony, rocky, however you want to call it. And, oops, what the fuck is that? it's a protruding bone. I don't know. No, just kind of, yeah, this stuff is, alright. Anyway, when one gets confused by their own guidelines. Oh, so that seems proper. Now I'll just line out the inners of the mouth better. I'm not coloring this, by the way. I am not a person that likes doing coloring job, but unless it's on digital, because I take an exhaustingly long time to color in a way I like when doing it on paper. I still have issues with the prepositions, my bad. On at. I'm pretty sure it's on paper, because it's like on, or is it in because it's, well, whatever. In on at. In an an, no. It can be anything. Anything could work, and I would never know. Well, let's just give this big boy some facial stones, because I guess he's made out of stone or something. Facial stones, I'll be good, master. Thank you, little chunker. Do not call me that way, or I will slice your throat open. Giving personality to my children as I create them. Isn't that awesome? It's a call to giving life at the moment. Yes, quickly giving life to the moment. He looks so cute. Don't tell me that. Okay. Big bad boy then. Seems more accurate. Making this like thicker so it's more accurate to the other one. Whoopsies. Okay, so that seems about right. Now I'll just make the lines a bit more coherent over here. Same with this place. Coherent lines are important to make the structure of it one look like it has sense. Oh, I forgot to make these lines a bit brighter. It's kind of neat. I like him. How shall we name him? I'm sorry for the loud noise. I do that when someone comes into my room and they do not knock or anything. My brother never knocks. It could be the middle of the night, I'm changing my clothes, and he'll just come in and peek at the door. Like, he doesn't even come in, he just peeks. And that bothers me so much. I think I'll first eat this, and I'll give this a bit more armor. This little guy some armor to his leggy, because he's got some big legs, big strong legs. He requires some armor on those leggies. And now I just gotta line this out. And I'm going to remake his thumb so it doesn't look like his thumb is having a stroke and just like being kind of like this while the rest, because if you can see, like, the other three fingers are kind of resting, but the other thumb was kind of like this, so it's a pretty awkward position. So I just put the other put the little thumb seat in a position that it looks like it's more resting, that it's not so awkward. He's got a chunky hand, but a good type of chunky. I love making things chunky. I love anything chunky. To me, chunky equals cuteness. Yeah, so, in my defense, yes, it's definitely not good in some cases. But, yes, it looks cute to me. Like, I like chunky things. I appreciate some chunkiness in my life. Yeah, I'm gonna give him bottom teeth because he was a bit toothless down there. Each time I say the word toothless, I just get reminded of toothless. Anyway, my childhood. There were so many things in my childhood. Like, it's not only How to Train Your Dragon, there was Avatar The Last Airbender. There was so much stuff I couldn't even, like, finish. Like, I would not be able to finish listing how much things I watched when I was small. Fucking Kid Butowski. That series was like an entire meme. It had all the kid, like the dumb kid humor you could imagine, like potentially imagine. It had butts, it had farts, all that stupid shit that for some reason when we were small we like. Yeah, all that. I have no idea why that type of humor is popular, or why do we even like it when we were small, but it's silly. Like, it's silly to think about it. I'm just tweaking up the wing a little bit, just to feel a bit more satisfied with the shape. That feels a teeny bit more proper. It's still pretty messy, not gonna lie. I'm gonna try to fix it by starting on this. Starting on the Rockies. Thinking about how all this goes together. Okay. Now I'll make one more that streaks out here. And then it goes down and forms this thing. Alright. I'm basically almost finished. I just wanna do the last tweaksies because I'm pretty I know I just said that I was giving myself the ability of committing mistakes, but no, not today it seems. Not today. Okay, so I like this. I'm going to consider this a final product, but I'm going to give him a reason to be looking uppies, because no being looks uppies without having a reason to look uppies. So I'm gonna be giving him a reason to look uppies, and that reason will be a bird. I'm going to make the bird pretty simple. I don't want to make like an over detailed bird or anything. Watch me do like a hyper realistic bird or something. No, I'm not doing that. Like, I'm not great at drawing birds, so I'm going to stylize a bird. I'm not even too great at drawing birds. Like, it really depends on the type of bird, because some birds I like, and that's why I draw them well. For example, like Shoe bills. I love shoe bills. That's why I draw them well, but any other bird is just kind of, unless I look at them like a bajillion times, I won't do very great. I will suffer. I'm not great at avians, but I do love making wings. Another bird that I'm, in my opinion, good at is owls, because I adore owls with all my body and soul. Like, that's even why my persona is a frog owl, because it has two animals that I most like. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Any other birds are basically like torture in my eyes. Okay. Almost done with the bird. Or board. Done. Oh wait, no. I forgot about the feathers on the other wing. He was gonna be bald on one wing. No offense to anyone bald. Oh my gosh. Sometimes I don't mean it seriously when I say no offense, because I know that it's just humor and nobody will take offense, but other times I'm like genuinely serious, like just in case, no offense. Because I know that sometimes I may say stuff that accidentally sounds offensive, but I don't really mean it to be. And that's about it. Oh wait. Boy has no pupils. Boy is lacking a soul. Or consciousness. I don't know which. Because you know how in TV series and stuff, when they take out the consciousness of a character, just kind of disappear their pupils. Sort of. Poof. It's either they're dead or they just lost consciousness. And then there's Pokemon that makes them look dizzy or something. And that's it. I'm gonna give this a floor. You know what? Fuck it. And let there be a floor. A floor to stand in. So the poor little boy isn't so lonely. He's got a bit of floor in him. Hey bird, why are you bothering me so much? I'm just looking for a dinner. Oh, I am just merely looking around. What do you mean bothering you? There that goes. Bye.